Okay, this is a response to ConferenceReport, who I think brings up some interesting philosophical issues, um, and wanted to respond briefly to his comments regarding Kalam's cosmological argument that there has to be a cause or infinite series of causes, and I guess the meat of the argument is that since there's an infinite series of causes, there has to be one prime mover, if I'm understanding that correctly. If you look at Wikipedia, the Kalam argument was named after the Kalam tradition of Islamic discursive philosophy through which it was first formulated in Arabic. The word Kalam means words, discussion, discourse. Cosmological argument was first introduced by Aristotle and later refined by Al-Kindi, Al-Ghazali, and Rushda. In Western Europe, it was adopted by the Christian theologian and saint of the Roman Catholic Church, Thomas Aquinas. Another form of the argument is based on the concept of a prime mover. This Aristotelian form of the argument was also propounded by Averroes. The premise is that every motion must be caused by another motion. The earlier motion must in turn be a result of another motion, and so on and so forth. So I think it makes sense when you talk about that there's no actual, how can there be a plan or a first mover if there has to be a cause behind a cause and a cause behind a cause and cause behind a cause. Here is where ConferenceReport is most puzzled by this. Here's a little bit of, if you don't mind, I'll run a little bit of audio from ConferenceReport here.
I'm saying that is it really hinges for me on this word begin. Begin, because begin is a completely space-bound and time-bound idea. Beginnings are locations in space and time, aren't they? That's what they are. You begin a journey at a particular point and you end it at a different point. You begin a process at a particular point in time and it marches through time to its end point. But these are completely bound up with the idea of space and time. But the universe doesn't exist in space and time. Space and time are properties of the universe. They're not like a box in which the universe sits. That doesn't make any sense. The universe is truly it doesn't even make sense that it's outside of space and time. It's made up of space and time in the same way that, grass is made up of cellulose or whatever. It's a component part. It's not a box in which it sits.
Okay, so there's a little bit of ConferenceReport. Hope you could hear that okay. He's an interesting guy. Check out ConferenceReport. He's actually pretty interesting. He thinks about all these things, and I suppose he was a philosophy teacher or philosophy major, and it'd be interesting to know a little bit more history on his knowledge base and what he's been through. And he has subjects about from philosophy, different philosophers, the concept of optimism, which I thought was interesting too. The glass half full versus glass half empty, and how much are we unconsciously or consciously choosing optimism, and why? So yeah, pretty interesting stuff. So if you haven't checked out ConferenceReport, very interesting. I discovered him actually through he made a comment on ContraPoints, who is a sort of a bright young graduate student who likes to talk about philosophy as well. Discovered him through ContraPoints and then ConferenceReport. I did find his discourse on cannibalism a little bit disturbing, but when you think about it too, there's a gray line there, which civility must transcend, right? So there it is, a little bit of a snippet of that, but Kalam's argument really falls through because we're using human logic of cause and effect, and if you think about infinite time and space, that transcends any kind of cause and effect or any kind of human conception we might have of this causes that. We're really led to an infinite series of, okay, if that started and then what caused that, if that started, what caused that, if God created it, what created God. So there's a completely different kind of logic that our brains don't have. I think that's my opinion. So there you have it. That's my response to Conference Report. Keep putting out the great, interesting videos.